Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator in the Cessna 152. We have a 58 nautical mile flight from Charlie Bravo Cable Airport to Alpha Victor X-Ray Catalina. Once again, we'll be flying with the beta version of the AI ATC software Say Intention, so we'll be using that to manage our complex airspaces and talking to ATC along the way. Catalina is a beautiful destination, and we're going to do a little bit of sightseeing when we get there. Should be an awesome flight, so let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Alright, we're sitting here at Cable, surrounded by aircraft, and we're going to need a little bit of space to maneuver, so let's push back the aircraft. Normally there's a ground guy always here, but he's actually absent today. So yell out the window, "Hey Bob, would you lend us a hand for a second?" I'm kind of lazy. Normally, in real life, to push back the aircraft, we would literally just push back the aircraft by getting out and pushing on the struts to move it backwards. There we go. We got to push back, put the parking brake on, and now we can go through our checklist. Alright, all of the switches are off, battery alternator off, keys off, car beats in, throttle's off, and I had a brain fade here when I was doing the checklist and left the mixture in. It should be off. Down to the fuel selector, we've got that turned on. Now I'll turn the battery and master on. I've got full left and right fuel tanks. We'll check that the prop area is clear. It is. The problem is the mixture was in on my flight stick, so move the mixture back out on the flight stick. Now move the mixture back in to reset it. Crack the throttle a bit. Prime it. 1, 2, 3 strokes of the primer. Feet on the brakes. Keys are in the ignition. Clear prop. Crank it over. We do have oil pressure. Looks good. RPMs 800. We got a good engine start. Next we'll lean the mixture for ground operations. Let's close that window because it's a little bit noisy. Windows are secure over here. Looks good. Head down here and start booting up our avionics. Get the flaps up. Flaps are up. Transponder to standby. Turn on the radios. Alright, avionics are on, so we've switched to our headset. How do you hear? Loud and clear for me. Let's open up ForeFlight and I'll take you through the flight brief. So we are departing from Cable, which is an untowered field just north of Ontario's Class Charlie airspace. So we'll have to be mindful of the Class Charlie. We've got a Class Delta, which is bracket field just off to our west. You can see that the Charlie airspace starts at 2,700, which is where bracket field ends. So we're going to stay at 2,500 and transition bracket field until we're clear of both of those airspaces. To the north, we have Pomona VOR on 110.4. So we'll dial that in and follow the radial to help us navigate. We'll fly underneath the LA Bravo airspace, so we won't need a Bravo clearance. We'll look for State College as one of our first visual waypoints, and we'll also turn there. We'll fly just north of the Disney TFR. That TFR only goes up to 3,000. We're flying at 4,500, so it won't be a factor for us. We'll be overflying the Class Deltas in the area at 4,500. Aiming for Seal Beach VOR. That's on 115.7, so we'll have that dialed in to our course deviation indicator, and again we'll use that to navigate, flying the radial from Seal Beach to Catalina. You can see that if I tap on the map here to get it to update, that Catalina also has a VOR, so we'll drag and drop that there, SKC. So we're navigating between Seal Beach and Catalina. And Catalina has a really beautiful port, which is Avalon to the south. So we're not going to fly direct the field, but we're going to do a little bit of sightseeing and do a lap around the aisle, checking out Avalon before landing at Catalina. Cable traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, taxi from the ramp to runway 24, hold short cable. Release the parking brake. Okay, I'll test my brakes, and they work. Alright, we're going to do a hard left here. We'll wave to Bill as we're leaving. Hey Bill, see you later. As we turn onto the main taxiway, I can see that the windsock is reversed. In fact, if we look at the flag over to our right here, the wind's coming from behind me according to the flag, but the windsock has it as a headwind. Alright, we'll stop here at the hold short lines, check that everything's clear. We'll check that flight controls are free and correct. We'll check our magnetos. Got a good drop on the mags. Cable traffic. Cessna 565 Whiskey departing runway 24. We'll be doing a southwest transition of bracket at 2,500 cable. Runway is clear. Release the parking brake, and we're underway. Cable Field is an awesome freeware airport. Check out the video details if you would like to download it. Where we're flying, Catalina, is a payware airport. Alright, we're lined up here on runway 24. You can see the windsock is backwards. Ignore that. Alright, full throttle. Gauges look good. Airspeed's alive. Coming up on 50. And rotate. Whoa, we got a little squirrely there. Tilt it back over. I notice sometimes Microsoft Flight Simulator requires you to put left rudder in when going full throttle, which doesn't make any sense. And then when you take off there, what happened, which is you kind of veer over to the left from all the left rudder. Alright, we're going to fly straight out here, and once we get clear of the field, we'll call up Bracket Tower and get our clearance. Alright, we're right on top of Bracket Field's airspace, so we're going to turn to the north for a bit to give us some time to call up Tower and get permission to transition their airspace. Bracket Tower, Cessna 565 Whiskey just off cable at 2,400. We'd like to transition your airspace to the south at 2,500.
Bracket Tower transition approved at 2500.
Transition approved at 2,500, Cessna 565 Whiskey. There's Claremont High School just off to our left.
149.75. Thank you for your help.
Warrior Tree 71 Bravo, Charlie, enter right base runway 27.
Right base runway 27 for Warrior Tree 71 Bravo, Charlie.
Alright, the Pomona VOR needle is centering up, so we're going to turn on to that heading and follow the VOR radio that we dialed in. And as we do that, I've got Bracket Field in sight.
Diamond Tree 71 Bravo, Charlie, turn
So
left
we're looking good.
270 vectors for sequencing.
Heading 025, Piper 500 Bravo.
Cessna 65 Whiskey, you're leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved. Good day, Cessna 565 Whiskey. SoCal approach, Cessna 565 Whiskey is a C152 slant Alpha 7 miles southwest bracket at 2,800. We'd like flight following destination Catalina, Alpha Victor X-ray at 4,500.
65 Whiskey flight following is on request. Squawk 5237 then ident.
5237 and ident, Cessna 565 Whiskey.
Cessna 65 Whiskey radar contact. Fullerton altimeter 29091.
29091, Cessna 565 Whiskey.
Cessna 65 Whiskey contact Los Angeles Center on 125.275.
Over to 125.275, Cessna 565 Whiskey.
Radar 135.625, planet 1977. So long.
Cessna 65 Whiskey traffic at your 12 o'clock, 5 miles at 5,500 Beechcraft Bonanza.
Looking for traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey. Traffic in sight, Cessna 565 Whiskey.
Cessna 65 Whiskey, roger, maintain visual separation.
Maintain visual separation, traffic no factor, Cessna 565 Whiskey.
Cessna 65 Whiskey, contact SoCal approach on 124.3.
Over to 124.3, Cessna 565 Whiskey. SoCal approach, Cessna 565 Whiskey, level 4,500.
Cessna 565 Whiskey, SoCal approach. Good afternoon. Los Alamitos, altimeter 29901.
Nassau approach. Cyber 587 Alpha 5000.
Whiskey, contact Los Angeles Center on 134.575.
Over to 134.575, Cessna 565 Whiskey.
Cessna 565 Whiskey, Los Angeles Center. Good afternoon. Altimeter 29901.
29901, Cessna 565 Whiskey.
65 Whiskey, Catalina Airport at your 1 o'clock 10 miles. Change to advisory frequency approved. Radar services terminated. Squawk VFR. Take care.
Frequency change approved, Squawk VFR, thanks for the help, Cessna 565 Whiskey.
Sky 149 Alpha 1 Echo 3 mile, final runway 26.
Catalina traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey over the VFR at 2,900 inbound for full stop, runway 22, Catalina. Catalina traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, right crosswind, runway 22, Catalina. Catalina traffic, 65 Whiskey, right downwind, runway 22, full stop, Catalina. Catalina traffic, 65 Whiskey, right base, runway 22. Catalina traffic, 65 Whiskey, final, runway 22, full stop, Catalina. Flaps up. Catalina traffic, 65 Whiskey, taxi the ramp, Catalina. Alright, that was an awesome scenic flight, and as always, flying with sane intentions really adds a lot to it because you have a ton of handoffs, and I love that I need to be on my toes listening to the radio and getting all of those ATC frequency changes. I love Catalina Island. It's one of those peer airports that has lots of detail beyond just the field itself, so be sure to check it out. So I hope you like realistic general aviation content like this. If you do, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.